The world of professional wrestling is built on the back of a lot of factions. In the world of professional wrestling, factions allow for dominant heels to have lackeys while they're winning championships or matches in general. Of course, the lackeys also can be mid-card champions and tag champions at the same time, too. And that is something that we are discussing in today's PJR of three factions that are truly killing it in the world of WWE and AEW. We're crossing brands on this one. And this is a genuinely tough one because I feel like all three of these factions have very good members in it. And of course, we are talking about the House of Black, Imperium, and Judgment Day. Juice, this is a tough one.
I think this is on any given day. I could push any of these three teams, but I think I have a good idea what I'm going to do here. So I'll kick us off. I am going to push Imperium because Gunther is just one of my favorite all time wrestlers. So I got my main eventer, main card guy in the faction right there. But I've also got just a stallion tag team. I think whatever you want to call it, Ludwig and Giovanni, or Fabian or Marcel, as they previously were named. They are just technically so sound and they're so smart. Their ring psychology, I think, is underrated too. And I love Ludwig's intro of Gunther. I love Giovanni's, he doesn't talk much, but I love his presence and his look. These are three guys I'm huge fans of. And also, I kind of hope that one of those two guys gets a mid-card ring at some point because I think they're that good in the ring. So, yeah, and they're just a tag team. I would give so many tag team reigns. They'd approach the record for me because they're just so dominant. And I hope they get a push soon as a tag team. That's the team I'd love to see be the tag team champs very soon. So I'm pushing them. That's easy push for me. Job. I think I'm jobbing Judgment Day. And the reason that there's two big reasons why. One, I got to keep Finn on the roster. I think out of the two factions, House Black and Judgment Day, Finn's the most valuable in both of them. And I think definitely needs to be on a roster. I think it's a good mentor, a good match quality there. And I think it'd be a great gatekeeper for the upper card. Because, he is upper carder. So, but in my brand, he'd have to be the pinnacle of the mid card. He's a great leader of a faction too. I think he's done pretty great work as Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley, and also I just got main event woman star and Rhea Ripley in the faction as well. I got the young, rising, super heel Dominic Mysterio, and you got a great wrestler and I think a good complement in Damian Priest. He's a good heavy. I like him as a heavy. I think that's where he succeeds the most. So yeah, I'm jobbing them. I'm releasing the House of Black. It pains my soul. Julia Hart's one of my favorite rising talents, young, developing women stars. I think she's a good character. She does really good character work. And Malachi, of course, is great. Always been a fan of his work. And Brody King is one of my favorite big men around. I think if I made a Mount Rushmore of current big men that are my favorites right now, I think he's definitely in there. And then Buddy, I've always been a huge Buddy fan. One of my favorite guys to watch in the ring, a guy I really, really was pushing for in WWE, get a big push as a single star. And they tried to put him in some stories and stuff. It just never really panned out and got sketchy at times. But yeah, I'm releasing them, but I know that they'll land on their feet because those are House of Black's a really talented faction.
It's so interesting to me because I think I'm actually going to go in the complete opposite order of you. I am going to be releasing Imperium, and that's nothing against anybody involved in it. It's just I only want one part of them. I only do. And while we did just recently record an episode where I took Gunther and Imperium to be on my fictitious WWE draft roster, I just really, really love the other two tag team portions of these teams. I feel like there's a lot of tag team potential. And Gunter's amazing. Gunter's a once in a generation talent. But I think that all three of these factions have once in a generation talents all over them. That means that my job is going to be the Judgment Day, similar to you. I think Finn is one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. And I think that Dominic Mysterio is one of the greatest heels in WWE right now. It is just so natural for him to get people to hate him. And of course, like you said, too, Rhea Ripley is on fire. She's dominant. She's somebody that easily breaks out of the mid card, no questions asked. And I think Damian Priest, like you said, I think in terms of big men, you're talking about like current big men that are some of your favorites. I think Damian Priest is totally up there for me. I think that he's shown it. He has character. He has the ability to just move around and dominate people in the ring. And I would love to have them in my mid card, but the House of Black in their position in AEW right now, I think is awesome. I think that they are a feature. They are champions for that matter too, trios champions. And I just really love the look. I love the presentation. I love the aura. I think I always want to call him Aleister Black. It's so interesting. He's still Aleister Black in my brain, but Malachi Black is just, I love his brain for the business. I do. And I love his talent in the ring at that matter too. And Buddy Murphy is not a slouch in the ring either. Or Buddy Matthews. Again, see, it's so interesting because I still love those guys from when they were in WWE because I felt like those were the people I was attaching to. Those were the people that I wanted to see on my television. Those are the people that I wanted to see win championships and win matches in general. And I felt like they weren't getting to shine that. And now, along with Brody King, Julia, they're awesome. I love their role that they're in. I think if I had them on a roster, they would be in the same exact role, presented the same exact way, and spooky shit is fucking awesome. I also want to mention too, we talked about Rhea Ripley being an up and coming women's talent. I think Julia Hart is being heavily slept on right now. I think people are finally coming around to seeing it, but like she's gonna take this spooky bitch character to the fucking moon. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, she was killing it in dark. Now it's time for her to kill it on our televisions because she definitely has something. And like I said, on any given day, I could go any way with this. I could push any of these guys, any of these factions. I'm big fans of all of them. I've been very behind pushing House of Black as this is unstoppable, unbeatable force that just doesn't get pinned. They don't take any L's in any fashion at all. I don't want any of them losing any kind of match, not just trios matches. I don't want them losing for like any single member losing any type of match for a good, like, I don't know, 8 months at least. That's how I would book them. So I respect House of Black as your push for sure. But the big factor for me was Gunther as the only man, the man with the record for most 5-star matches in WWE, and just Imperium as a whole. They're all about power and technique, and you just look at them for 2 seconds first time you ever watch, and you see him standing there. That's what they exude by just staring at him for 2 seconds. They're just, all three of them are masters at what they do, and I don't think, like I already said, the other two I don't think get enough credit.
And that is fair enough. And that is the beauty of PJR. It's always subjective. And of course, you can let us know your opinions and thoughts on this PJR on our social media platforms. And Juice, like you do so well, let the people know where they can find us.
You go to Twitter, you type capital T, capital O, capital T, capital C, underscore, capital P, lowercase o, lowercase d. Then you head over to Instagram, you type no capital, just T O T C underscore P O D.
Yes, and we want to thank you all so much for tuning in to this video. And of course, we want to make sure you are liking, rating, and subscribing to our channel. And again, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.